to a coffee with. First of all, what's your order?
A cappuccino, and seeing as it's Christmas, I've got a little bit of salted caramel in it.
Lovely. What would you typically go for? I know we've had Joe on and he mentioned that you call in the morning for a coffee. What would you?
So I have a grande caramel macchiato. So I do like my caramel. Yeah. But yeah, it's usually a cappuccino or something like that. So
a bit of a sugar kick in the morning just to get you going along with coffee.
To be honest, over the years now, I feel it if I don't have one. It's like a little kick, and I enjoy it as well. Yeah, it's nice.
We got you of an afternoon. And what would a typical afternoon look like for you after you've done training and you've?
Driving with Joe Ironside, so that helps with obviously the load of driving, but it's not too far. It takes us between 30 to 35 to an hour, depends with the traffic. On the way home, it's usually a breeze and a bit of music on or have a bit of banter in the car. Obviously in the morning, sometimes stop for a coffee. Or Morrison's, we stop off there for if it's an away day or stuff like that. You're probably having the similar conversations with me as what you've had with him.
No. What are you getting from Morrison's in the morning then for a away day?
Little sweets for the bus, for the away trips. But yeah, then when I get home, it's usually around school time. So if I can, I go and pick the kids up from school and take them to after school activities. The youngest one does diving, football, does music sometimes after school as well. So, and the oldest one's usually doing football training. So I've got most nights booked up. Mondays, Tuesdays with diving. Wednesdays a night where we don't do much. So Wednesday's a good day usually because it's usually a day off as well. So get time to chill out and get things in order in the house or whatever. And obviously then after school it's keeping the kids occupied or entertained or in order, as people know with kids. And then building up later on in the evening. The oldest one thinks he can stay up as late as we do now, so he's getting on. He's 12 now, so But I'm looking forward to the evenings coming up because the darts has just started and both kids like the darts, and my missus doesn't mind the darts as well. She's got a Scottish root, so she looks out for Gary Anderson and stuff like that. But no, I love Christmas time as well, so looking forward to what's to come in the next few weeks.
That darts does really add a bit of something to the Christmas thing. It proper feels like Christmas once darts. I know it certainly did. We're speaking day after first session. Yeah,
I like the first week because the games are quick and you get to see loads of some upsets and stuff like that. But the lads have been talking about it today at training as well, and we've got a board up at a couple of boards at the training ground actually where I'll start getting involved again because it gives you the bug. And I usually play pool at the training ground, but I'm going to dip into the darts now. And now it's on TV.
Any good darts wise?
I think darts is one of them where once you've got your eye in, you can start to build a bit of rhythm, and I can see why they get good at darts. Throwing hour after hour, you can build momentum, and I think it's like most sports really. Not bad, and to eye coordination with pool as well. So I know that the lads are quite keen on the darts, so I'm going to get involved in the next couple of weeks definitely.
You talked about being able to pick your kids up from school, and when you came back, you mentioned location were a massive draw to coming back to Doncaster. How nice is it to be able to do that and be around for pickups and things like that?
Yeah, it's when I was 20, 21, 22, whatever, when I didn't have kids. You want to play as high as you can, going in as much as you can, and it doesn't matter where it is in the country. You had to commit and relocate to wherever it was, and I've been really fortunate in my career. I had to move to Southampton where that was the first time I had to move away. Really enjoyed it, and that's when I had my first kid where we was actually in Southampton at the time. But then I went to Nottingham Forest, so I was lucky enough for him to be able to be born in Sheffield. So yeah, both kids are born in Sheffield, which is quite nice. Then I had the stint in America, which obviously couldn't commute from Sheffield there, but no, I loved that as well, and the kids loved it as well. Great experience for them, and I just thought with my stage of my career, not winding down, but my age, and I thought it was very important for me to be able to have the kids to still support and watch me. My eldest one's a huge Sheffield United fan. He'll watch them over me, but he has been to games where my wife and my other child has come as well. So yeah, and I enjoy driving in with Joe. Driving in on your own can get pretty boring at times. So you bounce off each other when sometimes he's just had his kid of his own, and I can tell him past experiences, and I know his pain and his experiences that he's going through. But I've told him that it never stops. There's one thing after another, and it works for me. It's not too far from Sheffield. Like I say, my family gets to come and watch and support me and my friends, and I feel as though it's important for me to be there for my kids with the school stuff and things like that. So to be able to have the opportunity to do that with Doncaster was lucky in a way for me. And people know the connection with me and Doncaster, and I always wanted to repay the club back for their support that they gave me and my family. So, and obviously the last time I did come back, we had the disappointment of relegation. So this time, I wanted to be here as part of something successful, and hopefully we can do that.
What did it look like after training when you were in Los Angeles then? How different was that?
Yeah, very different. I'd still have a coffee, even though it was 30 degrees outside. It was surreal, really. I wouldn't need a woolly hat and gloves like I do now in training at the minute. It'd be a vest and shorts, sun cream on every day. That was part of the routine. Get your ankles strapped, get your boots on, sun cream on, stay hydrated probably more than what you have to in England. And the surroundings with the palm trees and sun shining, blue skies. Knowing that if training wasn't that great on one of the days, I'd be on the beach in a couple of hours with the family, taking in memories which will last with me for a lifetime. So, again, I was fortunate enough to have that experience in MLS, and then lucky enough to obviously get back in English football with Hull last year, and now obviously Doncaster now.
A great experience to give your kids, as you touched on, being able to just do that.
Yeah, my kids came with me from the start and was going to come back to England to go back to school after the holidays, and didn't quite work like that. They enjoyed it, my wife enjoyed it, and we committed, and the school were really good and supported the kids. And the oldest one had a routine where he logged on to his computer and they sent the work through what he'd be doing on that day. He cracked on at 7:30, he was done for 10:30, and then the rest of the day was his, and he can practice his surfing and all other American sports that we embraced over there, playing baseball on the beach, American football on the beach. They had an unbelievable experience, and my oldest one actually grew his hair for the full time. He had long surfer hair, and my wife didn't want him to cut it when we came back, but he has done now. He's got back in the real world, as I said to him. But yeah, it was a good experience for them as well, and something that football was able to give me, and never really had that, and a little bit me wishes I'd have probably done it a little bit earlier in my career, but you have to take and what comes, and the adventure was good while it lasted. Yeah.
Diving, how did you look into that?
Do you know what? Don't actually know. Came home from school one day and my wife said, I put Milo onto this diving class at Ponds Forge.
Like you say, you've got fantastic facilities for it in Sheffield.
No, yeah, unbelievable, yeah. And I was quite happy with the idea actually, because I thought, I'm glad they play football, but I want them to have other interests as well. And I was intrigued to what came with that, because I've been to Barnsley Metrodome and tried to dive off the board, and it gives you the jeebies at the knees, I'm not scared of heights, but take some bottle. I know that, and first time I went to watch him, I was taking jumpers off. It was red hot in there. But yeah, it's good for his core, good for his balance, good for coordination, and like I say, it's unbelievable how many kids actually do it. All the boards are people diving off from all angles, and he's off the 3 metre at the minute, which again, until you've actually stood on the 3 metre, because obviously your feet are here and your head's, he's only small, but...
Were you a bit nervous first time you saw him on it?
Was I nervous?
Yeah.
No, I was wanting him to do it. To make me proud, and I just said to him, obviously it was pencil dropping in first. I was like, fair play to him. He showed a lot of bottle, and he's not missed one session, and quite enjoy going now. After I missed a couple of Tuesdays when we've had a game, but no, we've sort of added that into the family routine where that's his night. We go and support him and watch him, and like I say, he loves it.
What about on a day off then, when you get a bit of time to yourself, like kids are at school and things like that? What would you get up to?
On my day off, I used to play golf. I've built an house over the last few years, and most of the time that takes my time up just doing something in the house where the next thing what needs doing.
Do you have to be doing something?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah,
exactly,
my missus is. If she was sat around the table now, she'd be saying, "Yeah, he never sits still. He's always up to something." But no, if I have got a day off and my wife's not at work, we go for a breakfast or coffee, which is nice and needed, or go for a walk with the dog. So yeah, but back in my younger days, I used to play golf all the time. Yeah, which takes 5-6 hours up. So if I'm not getting out, if I'm taking the kids to school, I then need to go golfing, come back quickly before you go and pick the kids up. So unless you've got absolutely nothing to do on a Wednesday, then I don't get to play that much these days. So no, just general coffee or breakfast, relaxing midweek after a couple of days training.
Did you get to play much golf when you were out in America?
Not as much as I liked, but there was. You've heard of Top Golf?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there was a Top Golf in LA, which the kids loved as well. Not just for the burgers and stuff, but.
I think we need a bit more of that over here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there is one, but it's a bit far away. And then we played Donald Trump's course in LA as well, where you could see this big American flag from any of the holes on the course. Incredible course, but tough. Because it was beside the sea, it was, you had to play some good golf, or you lost a lot of balls, which quite a few of us did. And there's some amazing courses over there as well, which again I'd love to have stayed a little bit longer to take a little bit more of the experiences and the memories in, because I tried to knuckle down, do the business on the pitch, and was only there for 4.5, 5 months, so didn't get to do as much as I'd like to have done, because there's obviously a lot to do over there. But I'll definitely go back, take the kids and family. To say that we lived there it's still surreal, but yeah, something that the kids will benefit from in later in their life as well.
Could you see yourself going and living out there?
Yeah, so like I said, we built this house, and we both said, wouldn't this be nice if we be able to live here? My youngest one would be all for it. The oldest one was ready for home.
Yeah.
He loved it, but he was at that age where he missed his friends, missed his PlayStation, even though he could play that over there, but it's a different world, like living over there, so you weren't really on your computer. I was out and about on the streets all the time, and yeah, I've said I'd like to manage over there as well. It's different to England, where you need to do well, but you get a lot more time. It's like a project, and you seem to, because there's no relegation, you seem to get a lot more time. So that'd be something that I'd consider, and to be able to be a part of the LA Galaxy history is something that I was watching the first game of the season of English football on the sofa thinking, God, I miss football. And it was the first time in my career that had happened out of contract. And I had a text message, happened really quickly. I think within 8 or 9 days of getting the text message, we was on a plane to LA, and having to go back out of America to go to Canada to get visas sorted for me and the family, which happened really quickly. We got really lucky with that as well, and then just embraced it and went all in on living over there. And yeah, we were planning to stay, and I got told I was getting another year there as well, so it was all set up to look at schools and stuff like that. And that's when it hit home to my oldest one, and he was a bit upset, and we was like, but we was ready to commit to that. And as in football, things change quickly and didn't quite work out like that. And before you know, I was back in England in December, which that hurt my wife a little bit. She was looking forward to Christmas in America, something different, and I have promised her we'll do that one day. So yeah, I was then at Hull for the remainder of that season. So yeah, went from LA to Hull in the space of a month, which was weather-wise was a big shock to the system. Yeah.
So, how has it been then being back at Rovers? How have you found it these last few months?
Yeah, the lads have been brilliant. It's a great dressing room, which is, in my career I've had, the most important thing is the dressing room. You know, in good times, the bad times, you need a good dressing room, and we're having a bit of a, not a sticky spell, but we're just not quite firing at home at the minute. I think until, you know, the defeat against Port Vale, I think it was, we was 13 unbeaten, and we was sort of drawing at home. I think we've drawn, what, 4 or 5 out of 6 at home. So I think home form going into the new year is something that we have to really get to grips with. I know the lads went on an unbelievable run last year where home form was, you know, well, away form as well. But home form is, you've got to win the home games and then go and get the point away from home. If you do that, you get promoted. So at the minute, we're trying to go to places and get the win, and like Fleetwood we won and then come back it up, which we need to go and put. I think we've only done it maybe twice, 3 wins on a trot. So yeah, you need to go and put them and wins together, and that's why Walsall and your Port Vales and Crews are up there above us at the minute, because they've been a little bit more consistent than we are. But you don't win anything in December, so it's about timing and peaking at the right time. And where the levels are, we're just under a little bit at the minute, but there's no alarm bells and no panic stations just yet. We know we need to up our game collectively at the minute, and we've got a good period coming up. It's a busy period, but we've got teams where they're in and around us, so the games where you can't hide and you've got to go and, you know, be the best version of yourself and go and get the points.
Were there any reluctance to come back? I know you've touched on that, you felt like you wanted to repay the club and things like that, but you know. I
was at Hull last season, which I still have big disappointment of. It's been the only club I've never scored for. Yeah, I didn't play as much as I'd like to have done, but I had a couple of chances where I should have scored, and that hurts me a little bit. But it was nice to be back in the Championship, and I still thought I could play in the Championship as well, but you know, I had no problems dropping to League Two. I knew what needed to happen to keep me hungry, and I wanted to score goals, and I had no problem doing that for Doncaster, and I'd like to have got a few more goals than I have done up to now, but I think I'm on 9 for the season, so I should have been on 3 or 4 more than I should have been, but yeah, I need to chip in with at least 11 more goals, if you like, but I want, you know, just to help the team out and try and have a successful season and get Doncaster back up a division into League One.
We'll talk about that hunger for goals in a bit, but how do you look back on that kind of last spell that you had here? You mentioned it earlier in terms of that relegation, obviously disappointment. I don't know, you might tell me different, from the side of it that I was on at the time in the press, you didn't seem the same Billy Sharp at that point, not only on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. What was that spell like? In as much as you're willing to go into
that part of my career was frustrating because I signed from Sheffield United to Doncaster, where I had a few off the field problems going on, personal life. But I was managing to score goals on the pitch. Wasn't really looking after myself that well. But getting away with it, I was scoring goals on the pitch for Doncaster in the Championship, and it sort of masked over personal problems and little niggly injuries that I had, and it caught up with me, and I got injured, which affected me from scoring 20 league goals for Doncaster in the Championship, which would have been a great achievement, and I would have done if I'd have not missed the end of the season, and maybe we'd have got in the playoffs. You never know, but I don't know. I felt invincible, but now knowing having that experience, I wasn't. I should have been doing a lot more than I was doing at the time off the field, and wasn't really able to train that much, so wasn't the best version of myself. But then when I came back, like you say, for the relegation time, because during that period I was having a tough time, I got my move to Southampton. But then I went Reading, Forest, Leeds, just before that, obviously Doncaster, and I don't know. The game I didn't play the last game of the season was a weird one because we needed to score goals. Absolutely. And I don't know, it was weird. I remember we were thinking about the other game and the other result rather than his own game, and that hurt because to get relegated no one wants to get relegated, and obviously then after we got relegated I was no longer at the club, so that didn't really sit well with me, so that's why another reason why I wanted to come back and put a success story in it, because I think last time I was at Doncaster winning the Championship we was overachieving. We call it the Donny Dream, with the Johnny Austers, Cops, James Hayters, Stockies and Neil Sullivan in the net. We had some good players, but we shouldn't have been getting near the playoffs, but we was playing teams off the park. Beat Watford at home, we beat Southampton at home, beat Leicester at home. We beat a lot of good teams, but just wasn't quite good enough to get in the playoffs. And I think we had a lot of injuries as well, which affected us. I think I got injured towards the end of that one as well. So I've had some unbelievable memories in Doncaster shirt, and it's strange because I've had 3 numbers as well, which number 5 was different, but I quite enjoyed it. And
how did you end up with number 5?
It was either 5 or 30 something. I don't know. You want to be in that 1 to 11. Well, that's what I thought back then. 14's great for me because one of my kids' birthdays on the 14th, and one of my other kids' birthdays was on the 27th. I wore 27 in LA. So over the years, different numbers have meant things to me. And favourite number's 10, obviously. But Saab signed before me, so. He fortunately got that one over me.
You touched upon them great times, and that's obviously a massive reason why you're so loved here by the supporters. What have you? They've fully embraced you once again. Yeah,
and another thing that I had on personal side is I want to get 50 goals for Doncaster as well, and obviously managed to do that now. And I'm not sure how many appearances I'm on now, but I'm a part of their history as well. Everyone seems to remember my left foot volley for Louis, which probably wouldn't have dreamt of doing that other than that night. Just frustration, just hitting the ball as hard as I could with my left foot and flew in the top corner. But I've had some good times in Doncaster shirt, and hopefully I can have some more going into the new year.
How do you look on your career then, from what you've said in terms of how you were looking after yourself and all things like that, and the frustrating in that period? You end up back at Sheffield United, and then everything is moving in the right direction. Did it look like a career of 2 halves to you? Or were there a point where
not 2 halves, no. A career of... I worked so hard to get to where I wanted to be in the Premier League, but when I actually got there, I was very lucky because I had a personal off-the-field tragedy with Louis. Wasn't in the best shape I should have been in. But football was giving me a release, and I remember Nigel Atkins trying to sign me for Southampton at the start of the season, and I said, look, I'm not fit, blah, blah, blah. And I remember Leicester then coming to watch me when I scored 1-0 the week after I scored against Southampton. And it was a toss of a coin really which one to go to. Leicester location was probably better, but Southampton was second in the division at the time, battling with West Ham at the top of the table and Reading, I think it was, and it was a chance to go and get to where I wanted to be, well, where every footballer wants to be in the Premier League. And luckily, scored goals, got to the Premier League, made my Premier League debut at Man City away. And then with these owners these days, they, not at all clubs obviously, change things quickly. I was not in the plans. Ended up going to Nottingham Forest, which, again, another wonderful club. It was a bit of a weird 4 years. I had Leo, obviously second child, on loan, went on loan to Reading, went back. It was a bit not settled, and I'd just had my first child, and that's something that me and my wife look back on, and with the tragedy of the first one, and then having Leo, not really been settled, and I think we did well. And then once the Doncaster's loan spell, when I went back, I remember Sheffield United, obviously then I signed for Leeds, and then I'd gone from the Premier League to Leeds, and 3 managers at Leeds in one season. Yeah. Sheffield United wanted to sign me, so my money had come right back, and I dropped from Premier League to League One, and I wouldn't have done that unless it was Sheffield United, and it was the best decision I've ever made. And I remember leaving Sheffield United the first time to sign for Donny on loan at 5:30, I think the deadline was, and I ended up signing for Donny, which was great for me, helped my career enormously. And yeah, I'm jumping in a little bit, but yeah, when I signed back for Sheffield United in League One, I knew I wanted to try and, I didn't expect it to go as well as it did. Yeah. Scored over 100 goals. Sheffield United had 3 promotions, League One, Championship, out of the Championship twice. Playing and scoring my first ever Premier League goal in Sheffield United colours was big for me, and I had, again, my family, my kids, was able to enjoy successful years at the club that I support was unbelievable. So that 3 or 4 years where the uncertainty and not being settled was frustrating, it was all worth it, because the last 8-9 years of my career has been amazing, with the promotions, experience in LA, and obviously now back at Doncaster, which I'll be 39 in February, which, people might say, oh, he's getting on a bit, but hopefully I can go again next season.
In terms of when you look at your career, you've ultimately achieved your boyhood dream, not only to play for your club, but that which you've done before that. But when you went back, and that ride, and taking them out of probably one of the most frustrating periods in the club's history, that drop into League One and struggle to get out, to take them back to Premier League, and then that first season back in Premier League, incredible. Yeah. You've got to be satisfied with that ultimately, I suppose. It
was a big risk going from Southampton Premier League. I could have stayed at Leeds United. It's a great club. They had obviously a few issues at the time. I had another season left there, but my heart took over my head, and obviously Nigel Atkins was the manager, and I had no second thoughts. I remember flying back from Austria when I was pre-season for Leeds, signed for Sheffield United, and we had an horrendous season, to be honest. I did well personally. I think I got 24 goals, but I finished, I'd say, 10th. Got booed off the last game of the season, doing the lap of honour. That was another low point of my career. And then the rest, as you say, is history. And unfortunately, Nigel got sacked and Chris Wilder come in. I was named captain, which was probably one of the biggest, it is the biggest honour I could have asked for. To captain Sheffield United was unbelievable. I'd only ever been captain one match before that, and that was for Doncaster against Middlesbrough. That was also an honour to wear the armband, and I've wore it again this season for Doncaster. So having the responsibility and the armband leading the lads out it's a good privilege to have. And yeah, Sheffield United went like a dream, literally. To get the promotions was unbelievable, and that's what I want to take some of that and bring that into this dressing room, and hopefully we get another promotion to get out of League Two.
I was going to say that. Well, what were special about that group that you had and that momentum that you had coming out of League One, coming through the Championship as well?
That word momentum. You've seen it with other teams. Ipswich went League One, Championship up. I think Portsmouth did it a couple, I think, and I think that's what here at Doncaster, you know, the way they finished, it felt like they was on to something good this season. You know, take that momentum. Obviously, it ended badly against Crewe, but take the momentum and the form going into this season, which we are doing a lot better this season than they was doing at this point last season. But at the minute, it's, you know, it just feels a little bit like we're not quite clicking where we should be, and we feel we should be at top of the tree. So we need to roll our sleeves up, work a little bit harder, and make sure that we close the gap from where we are on top.
I said it earlier, we'd touch on this, but in terms of that passion for scoring goals, do you think that that'll never ever stop?
Yeah, never. Even if I'm playing in the garden with the kids, I want to score goals in the garden. No, it's the best feeling in football. There's other parts of my game now that I feel I'm a lot better at than when I was first time at Doncaster. The game's changed since I was last year. But yeah, you can't be scoring goals. You ask any striker, you ask any player really, even players who don't score goals, you can see that the joy it brings to not just the person who scores, to the teammates, to the fans, to the staff on the side. You know, it's what football's about, scoring goals to win games. And yeah, I've enjoyed a few of my goals this season, but they all mean just as much as others do, and hopefully I can get a lot more this season.
You talked about your dad keeping you abreast of all the stats and things. Is he loving it as well, adding those numbers on? Has he always been a big one for that? He has something for me every week. Who have we got next? Tranmere. I know what will come. Last time I played against Tranmere, I scored away at Tranmere in the promotion season for Scunthorpe. I think it was. I might be wrong. I'll have to ask him. Yeah, he always has some sort of stat. I'm looking forward to playing against him actually. Nigel Atkins is the manager. Joe Murphy, who was the goalkeeper at Scunthorpe when I got promoted when I was 18 there, he's still playing, 43 years of age, so fair play to him. It'd be nice to catch up with them too, and it'll be a tough game, but one that we need to win because, like I say, we've stuttered at home this season, and it'll be good for the lads going into the Christmas, not break, but the Christmas pile up where we have a lot of games in quick succession, where you can actually move up the league quickly if you win games. Talking about records, you've got so many milestones, not just for clubs, but in your career and where you stand amongst other strikers and things like that. What does that sort of status kind of mean to you? You know, the Championship leading scorer since turn at Millennium and things like that.
Yeah, I still have to look over my shoulder with that one now. I think Naki Wells is the closest one to me who's still playing, so and he's still scoring this season, so fair play to him. Yes, it's a good achievement to have. I'd like to be scoring goals for Doncaster in the Championship. I'm not sure I'll be able to hang on that long, but I'll try and help us along the way to get in there. But yeah, I think scoring goals will never get old for me, and scoring goals in winning games is the best feeling ever, and it brings happiness not just to me, to family, friends, supporters, and yeah, it's what football's about really.
How have you found the standard in League Two? It's been a long time since you've been in League Two.
Yeah.
How much has it come on?
Yeah, I think when I last played League Two for Russian Diamonds, I think there was a lot more mistakes in the league. I think there is a lot of good players. I think there's a lot of styles that are pretty similar. You know what you're going to come up against. It's very physical. Yeah, you have to change your game, adapt your game a little bit, and I don't think we did that on Saturday that well. I think we got sucked into playing the way that Wimbledon did, and it didn't suit us at all, and we have to be better than that and find ways that suits us as a group to cause other teams problems, which again at home we're finding it difficult, maybe because teams are putting more players behind the ball. Well, we have to respect that and combat it and be better. We need to be better to score more goals, or to find that one goal and not consider the other end of the pitch. So yes, it's a challenging division, which they all have the challenges, and it's the most forgiving, if you like, because 3 go up automatic, then you've got the playoffs, and so there's more chance of getting out of this one than any league. So yeah, there's no excuses. We've got to be up there, and we've got to find a way to get out.
Is coaching/management definitely next for you?
Yeah, I've not shied away from it. I want to give managing a go. Yeah, might not work out, might not be for me in the end, but I do actually think I'd be all right at it. So I've got my UEFA B, UEFA A. I coach both my kids' football teams. I've took an interest into coaching styles in, managers.
You've worked for a few different ones as well, haven't you?
Yeah, and you take all little things from every one of them, and I don't know, it's like anyone has their own opinion, and you see all across the leagues that managers put their own ingredient onto their teams, and I'd like to one day be able to have that opportunity to do that. And like I say, it might not be for me in the end, but that's something that I want to get my hands into, and hopefully I can do that one day.
Have you felt more comfortable as you've gone through your career in terms of speaking out and using your own voice?
Yeah, I think becoming a captain really helped. And I think that's when my views of things changed. I used to be, quite self-driven and concentrate on my own game. I've got to score goals for my team, and I didn't really think about my teammates. I was like, I need to score goals, and if I don't score goals, I'm not helping the team. But it's not all about that. And when I put the armband on, I knew that I had to look after other people on the pitch when it wasn't quite going great for them, or for myself. I had to still show good examples and drive and grab people and bring people through, and off the pitch in the dressing room as well. The younger lads. I think that came with more experience as well. But having the armband certainly helped to showed me different things in football that maybe I would want to coach, maybe I would like to manage. Back in the day, I thought, why would you want to be a manager? All you do is get sorted if you're not doing well and you get sacked. But no, I think it's the next best thing to playing. Obviously, it's not going to beat playing, but a lot of players who I've played with have gone into coaching or managing. So the latest one being Noel Hunt, I played with him at Reading, and he's just become the Reading manager. So when I finish playing, I'd like to go into clubs and pick managers' brains, because something that definitely I fancy doing in the future.
As you touched on earlier, it's definitely, you're going to have to find something, aren't you?
Yeah. I might get a few more rounds of golfing, but my wife might get the Christmas away. But she's like, well, if you do go into management, well, we're never going to get to do it. But I've told her, might get sacked like Russell Martin last night. He's got Christmas off. It's not all doom and gloom. So no, I'd like to be a part of football when I finished and be in that dressing room. Can't play forever, so to have the armband on, if you like, managing the team, trying to drive that team on and being proud of that group, it'd be something that I'd certainly want to have a go at.
All these interviews finish with the same question, and this one's going to apply to you more than anybody else, in terms of when all's said and done and your career is over, your playing career, how would you like people to remember you? What would you like people to say about what you were like as a player, as a person, and football?
You're not going to have everyone say the same thing.
No.
I know a lot of people see me as the fat lad from Sheffield. A lot of people respect me and see me as being a very good goal scorer in the Football League. And
you seem to get a lot of stick for being a very good goal scorer. Like opposition teams,
and I know I thrive off opposition fans. I like to play on the edge. On that yellow card, right on the edge is how I feel as I am the best. And that is football. You need to get to that place where you're right at it and you're in the zone. And sometimes it takes someone hitting you with a tackle, or the ball hitting you in the face, or a goal just come in, a chance, bang, goal, and then bang, your adrenaline goes through the roof and you feel really good. And that's another thing about football. You can't replace or replicate that. If you're not scoring goals or winning games, it's that buzz of going out, listening to the fans, and the opposition fans have been a big part of my career as well. And yeah, for people to just remember me as a good goal scorer, I've done it at every club I've been at, bar Hull, so I apologise to them. I wanted to add to my championship tally, but I couldn't quite get on the score sheet, and there's one that got away from me. But I'd like to get to 300 career goals. That'd be something very special, and yeah, hopefully another promotion as well under the belt.
Good place to finish.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bill.
No worries. Cheers. Thank you.